So, hopefully you didn't wait too long. I'm back. See, juiced it up a bit. Gotta look clean. Gotta look fresh. Damn, I look good. Okay, I don't know even the song, but it just came to me. But welcome to another episode of We Are Cooked. Because South Africa is a damn movie. And why the fuck is there a fly in my cut? Oh, it's back. XA. I shares it with Doom. Hopefully the Doom holds. And also, upon recording this, I have some technical glitches that I'm not understanding where they are coming from. But hey, we constantly try here, man. Welcome back to the Corporate Gulliver YouTube channel with yours truly, Corporate Gulliver. And yeah, man, we're meant to be discussing whose BEE is it anyway. Part 1. The reason why it's part 1 is because, hey, it's not the type of conversation I can have with my ranting self, shouting like the one I did for the national dialogue. But it requires the respect that it deserves because this is one that affects the lives of many people and many young people that are still to make their mark in corporate South Africa, whether you believe it or not. You may be made to believe that, no, look, BEE only benefits only a select few minorities and whatnot and whatnot. But then maybe that's perhaps on the front of ownership. But there are various aspects to broad-based economic empowerment, which is currently severely under attack because it also includes issues of employment equity and just general affirmative action policies that the South African government actually has in place to ensure that they redress the injustices of the past. Why is that important? Because previously it was very clear of what should become of corporate Gulliver. Corporate Gulliver was just meant to just have Gulliver and no experience of how it feels to work in an air-conditioned office. And many of you may think that, yeah, we have made strides in that because there are many corporate Gullivers there. Yes. But how many people that look like corporate Gulliver actually lead corporate Gulliver? Because most of the time, they are, the structure of the South African labor market remains what it was in the 80s and 70s. It remains that way. Are companies intentional about trying to change that? Yes, they are. There are companies that are trying to change that. Are there companies that do not want to change? Yes, because they view it as, why the hell is the government in my business? Capitalist libertarian school of thought type of vibe. But for us, it becomes important because when you look at the levels of income inequality in terms of what a black household makes, a colored household makes, an Indian household makes, white household still, even after 30 years of democracy, still have the highest earning capacity. When you look at the levels of education amongst blacks, whites, Indians, colored, and I don't think I left any race out in terms of the racial categorization of South Africa, but if I did, I apologize. But just based on that, in terms of income inequalities based on levels of education, a white matric certificate holder still makes closely as much as a black graduate. So unless if there are mechanisms that we're going to use to resolve that inequality, I really see no reason why BEE should go. Because if you're going to say that, oh no, South Africa has an economic growth problem. Yeah, South Africa has had economic growth previously, but people that look like me did not enjoy the fruits of that economic growth. In fact, legislatively previously, it was that when South Africa performs well, the people of Soweto do not partake in enjoying the fruits of that economic growth, despite the fact that the entire Johannesburg concept was built on their backs. So, you tell me, you're a business owner that believes that one, you should pay people whatever you want. Two, you believe that the fact that people only have to work for 8 hours is not your vibe. You hate that. You want people to work for as long as you need them to work. You are a business owner that believes that women are not good to be employed in your business because it's unsafe, and also what must happen when they go to maternity leave. You generally believe in those things. It's not going to change all of a sudden. Like, let's not be misled, right? On the 26th of April 1994, South Africa went to bed knowing how, people that were previously known as Europeans, now known as South Africans, white South Africans, went to bed knowing how they feel about us. But somehow, miraculously, our parents believed that on the 29th of April, towards the 30th day, these are the best people to educate us. A perception that still continues till today. One that we also believe, but not for the same reasons. There's general belief that, oh no, if you're educated by white South African teachers, your outcomes are far much more better in life than if you're going to be educated in a government public school in the township. To be honest, the starking difference between the two systems is level of resourcing. Resolve the resourcing issue in Soweto, and I'm telling you, you're gonna. And also, you know what's funny? Because the matric results were out and stuff like that, and then, like top performers in like government schools, quintile 1, quintile 100, and whatnot. I never hear the argument that, oh no, why are so many black kids so excellent? There must be something done. Something must be done. Our white kids are disadvantaged there in those white schools. They never say that. And I think you are going to wonder, okay, what's the point? The point is, usually when we do demographics, when we converse about issues of demographics as to why a company should be reflective of the South African demographics, they have issue with that. They have issue with that a company ABC trading should not look like South Africa, where it's literally 80% people that look like this. They say, no, it shouldn't look like that. But come metric results, they have all the scientific reasoning to say that no, the reason why it happens is because there are more, black kids in the education system than they are white. Therefore, it only makes sense that most of them would, like, oh, there it makes sense. But now when we want it to look the same way in places where we work, in places where we live, it's a problem. But anyway, more on that on part 2 was just a way to entice you, to show you that I'm back, show you that I'm back. But anyway, I think we're 10 minutes into this recording, and I starting to whoa. Wait, give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. I just realized something. This thing is too big. But anyway, I've already embarrassed myself. Can't delete this and start over. But yeah. So that kind of like gives us a setup of some of the conversations we're going to be having robustly, honestly, call things for what they are. One of the greatest men I follow in terms of like intellectual stuff. He says that at some point in South Africa we have to confront the reality that our biggest problem is not unemployment or lack of money. It's just that we are black and we are landless. That's the biggest problem we have. And then furthermore to that, we draw inspiration from people like Bantu Biko, known as Steve Biko, who spent his youthful years thinking about these things, you know, because like you cannot talk BEE and not think black consciousness, because right now the fight is not about the opposition only comes from white South Africans. The opposition also comes from people that look like us, who have now gotten access to credit, was able to acquire a house at Blue Valley, and drives a Rari. So that's where also the opposition is coming from. So they are of the view that those who were left in the hood like us should find our way. And as far as they are concerned, BEE has done nothing for them. They worked hard. And that comes from the fact that the general connotation that is attached to affirmative action is that you, as a person that looks like me, must feel bad that you are a beneficiary of affirmative action. And I think the lack of embrace for it is what gives the audacity for conversations such as this to even happen, that we must have a replacement for black economic empowerment. And then on other issues that I will be discussing, I want to talk about housing, guys. I live in Johannesburg, and one of the things that primarily will be happening soon is that we are going to have a homelessness crisis if we are not careful. That's where we're going to end up. We are going to have a homelessness crisis. So I just have been interested in housing for a while. So just want to look at that, the strategic government policies regarding housing and how it's going to be resolved. Look into social housing programs that exist in South Africa, because one of the biggest travesties that are happening is that you are always 1,000 rand away from qualifying for government housing. They say a minimum salary 22,000, and then when you earn 23,000 gross, you take home my 15 or 18 or 17 there. So yes, but yeah, we'll discuss it. The benefits, the pitfalls, where it went right, where it doesn't go right. Yeah, man. And then the other one is that oh, TikTok. Yeah, check me out on TikTok. I'm gonna be saying a whole lot of yap stuff there. Am I doing too many promises again? You know what? Just watch the space, man. Corporate Gulova, signing out. See you next time in a more comprehensive part 2 of Whose BEE Is It Anyway? Whereby we now unpack BEE, the legislation, the realities, the social impact, and why it needs to stay. And nobody will convince me otherwise. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you who has watched up until this far. Please drop me a like, drop me a share. I don't know, give me tips. By the way, literally, I'm not gonna do anything different. I'm just gonna sit here where I always sit when I'm working and shoot content. This thing of setting up I saw is the one that used to demotivate me. And I always found excuses. Excuse after excuse after excuse. But otherwise, Buffet Corporate Gulova signing out. Please like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, shout out to Michaela, man. Turns out bullying does work. Peace.